Well, great feast today. Today's actually a feast day. As you know, we sang Gloria. We're going to sing it. We said it. We're not going to make you guys sing a cappella, I promise. Yeah, so great feast day today. The archangels, we have St. Michael, St. Gabriel, St. Raphael, right? And, in my past spiritual life, I never really used the angels very much, but I use them a lot now. And even in my work, if I'm going out to see a tough client where maybe him and I don't really mesh very well, I'm going to see a family member where maybe there's some fighting and some people not getting along, I always pray to the angels that their angels and my angel kind of get us together, right? Get us to that common ground. And you know what? It really works. It really does. You'd be really surprised. I went to some family Christmas dinners and I was like, I'm sitting next to a family member that I know I don't really get along with, and folks, we got along fantastically. So always use those angels to help you in your life, help you in that guidance. And angels of God, they're messengers. They're messengers in God. They help us in ministering, guiding, and protecting. In our first saint, St. Michael, you heard him in our very first reading in the book of Revelation. This is when Satan said no to God. When Satan said, hey, God, I'm not going to serve. I'm out of here. I'm going to do my own thing. And he leaves, And what Archangel Michael does is he drives Satan out. He drives the demons out. He drives them out of heaven. And that's the great battle that you heard in our very first reading in the book of Revelation. And I always use Michael for protection, and he's my patron saint, obviously. And if I'm ever going into like a hostile place where maybe I'm debating someone who thinks very differently than we do, I'll always pray to Archangel Michael for that protection, right? And not only for that protection, but for me to stay really calm. Because as you know, I'm a German, and I get really hyped up, right? And I can really go after people if I want to, right? So I have to pray to Archangel Michael, man, keep me calm, nice and cool, nice and calm. Just spill the facts, just spill the truth. It's not about trying to punch him in the face, right? It's about, using your words, right? That's what it's all about. So I use Archangel Michael for that protection. I use that for him to keep me calm, cool, and collected. Angel Gabriel. Gabriel means God is my strength. God is my strength. We find Gabriel in the book of Daniel when the prophet Daniel has these visions of the archangel. And of course, Gabriel is one of them. We also can read a lot about the archangels through St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas did a lot of our angel and demon theology in the church. He would just sit in adoration. He would just be meditating on all the angels. He came up with the hierarchy of angels and the hierarchy of demons, right? So he was very, very in tune with angels and demons. Gabriel, as you guys know, brings the word to Mary. He says, Mary, hey, do you want to be part of this rescue mission? And you want to bring Christ into the world, right? The angel Gabriel was the one who had invited her in to be part of our rescue mission. And the last archangel is Raphael. Raphael means healing of God, healing of God. He's found in the book of Tobit, and Raphael helps Tobit's son, Tobiah. He helps them connect their marriage with his wife, Sarah, and he also heals Tobit's blindness. And after he heals his blindness, he brings Tobit back into the graces of Israel. So he brings all his fortune back to his family. He helps him bring his hierarchy back to Israel. Now we read in our gospel today, Jesus is calling Nathanael out of the darkness, right? Out of the shade of the fig tree, right? Jesus is calling Nathanael out of the fig tree. When we're called to that discipleship, when we're called to be Jesus' disciple, we too, we're called to come out of that darkness, come out of that shade of that fig tree. We're called to call in to the light. We're all called to come into the light of Christ. The last paragraph of the gospel really relates to what we're talking about today. because Jesus is the minister of all the angels, right? You'll see something great when you see the angels ascending and descending from heaven to earth, carrying God's message. And that's exactly what Jesus says in that last paragraph of the gospel today. So it's important for us to kind of do a little meditation a little bit today. You know, as we think about the gospel, we think about the readings, we think about this feast day. You know, are we invoking the angels for guidance and protection? Are we also use the angels in our prayer? Do we help use angels within our lives?